You are listening to Salty's Fight Talk, hosted by the big, sexy, stay frosty fight fans.
All right, there we go. So we got Jay Action Jackson on today, dude. It is a honor to have you on the show today on Salty's Fight Talk. So how's it going, brother? How you doing? How you feeling? I know you've been in camp. You got a fight coming up.
I feel great. Just got out to second session of today.
Nice.
Thursday. That's what I keep telling myself because now we're at the countdown.
Yep.
Like yesterday
Yep.
was Wednesday. It's like it's Wednesday. Today's Thursday. It's
Yep.
Thursday. It's Thursday. So yeah, man, I'm amped.
So we got your fight. You're coming up. You're fighting in Clearwater, May 2nd. I've seen you fight personally. I've been there when you've been in some fights, and you definitely, your name lives up to it. Action Jackson. You absolutely put on a show every time. People are asking me this week who you got on. I was like, dude, this guy is absolute killer. It's been enjoyable to watch him in person, see him in person. His charisma, everything about him is incredible. So definitely going to be someone you want to listen to. Yes. So this podcast, the reason we did this, we can start talking fight stats, everything, my whole life. But what my fans, what they want to listen to is your story. How did you become Jay Action Jackson? What brought you into the fight world? And I know a little bit about you. I know you've done some pro wrestling back in your day too. So you,
Oh man, I got a whole story and like. Oh no! Like I go on. I call it the Donald Trump effect. If you watch Donald Trump on Joe Rogan, and he'll ask him a question, and Trump will go on and on and on. It's just I think that's a personality trait. You
yep.
know, it's not that I'm conceited, but I got a story, man, and I don't have a problem talking about it. So don't mind my practice. I mean, I'm like trying not to rant on. I mean,
Yep.
if you ask a
Hey,
question,
look, this platform is for you to talk. That's what the fans want to hear. I want to shine light on you, who you are as a person, how you
oh
became a
man,
fighter.
oh dude, I tell you this right now, March 2010, I like 20 or 19, and doing 19-year-old shit, working at a mall and in Georgia or whatnot, and I had to start over, and I started at ABAA boxing in Bay City, Michigan. And I would have my first sparring session in the Tough Man. If you guys know what Tough Man is, it was pretty much it's like it was MMA before UFC. Tough Man,
Before it came a thing.
Phil Baroni, Butterbean, they all started in that shit.
Yep.
My first coach is Coach Butterbean. So I started
Incredible
from there.
first coach.
Huh?
That's an incredible first coach, dude. That guy
Right.
he's an enjoyable person.
Right, Bob Arsenault, rest in peace. He passed away last year, unfortunately, and that sucked ass. But I was my first boxing coach, and Thunder Dan, and shit. I had nothing to do, and I wanted to try fighting, and that's how I got started. That's how I got started, And Bob was like, when I came in, Bob was just like, Jay, my only rule is that if you get into bar fights, you can't come back to the gym. And I'm like, I don't want that to happen,
Yeah.
So find out that motherfucker had way more bar fights than I ever think of, and still had bar fights till he died. But dude was struck on that shit on me, and that shit graved into me. Even when I was a bouncer later on in my life, I always give those guys praise because it was that type of discipline that kind of kept me going on through. But that was just like the beginning part. It was just me going to a little sleazy boxing gym in Bay City, Michigan, off Midland Street, and I've just been grinding ever since. So before you know it, I was in Golden Gloves, and then I started doing MMA. I was doing a lot of MMA fights locally, and then I went viral in 2012 because me and this dude hit each other at the same time, and we had an almost double knockout thing,
The
which
double
was
knockout.
hilarious. Check
Yep.
that shit on YouTube. I'm not going to go into a whole explanation about that, but know that it was a serious weight
Definitely
cut.
go and watch it. It is very
Definitely watch
interesting.
it. Big
Yeah.
John MMA, once again, a lot of people come and gone. Big John's dead now. He passed away a couple years back, but still, just like that's just I have a journey like that. Packed my shit up and just moved around, and then all of a sudden, a couple years back, 2021 or 2020, decided to do bare knuckle. I was affiliated with a couple people that were in the bare knuckle boxing world, and I was like, I think I should give this shit a shot. Did tryouts. Then I was on the Paige Van Zant and Rachel Afanage card. I cannot say her last name to save my life. I apologize, but I promise she's hot as fuck, and she had a banger fight with Paige. But I also had those influencers on my card. Blue faces on it, and I can say that I left my mark because I had one of the coolest knockouts ever on that card. Still one of my favorite fights. Now I'm here,
Yeah. Well, yeah, man, we've been following you. I mean, you're killing it right now. I just actually saw your last fight in Albuquerque. So we were there.
Were you there?
Yeah, we were there. Yep, we were
Dude,
there.
don't mind my memory, man. Like, because I'd stay on and on, even because even from Albuquerque, I was in Rico, and
Yep.
then from Rico, I was in Florida. From Rico, I was in Florida, and then yeah. So then I'm back in Florida, about to fight in
Yep.
Clearwater. So I did a whole camp in Florida. I did a week in Hawaii, a couple weeks back. More of a spiritual journey. I did a seminar there for a small boxing club, and met up with one of my best friends from the past 15 years, and me and him we did our spiritual thing together. Yeah, I mean, like, because we're both Christian people, so
Nice.
yeah, we Bible studied and just reminisced and kind of hung out and just kind of caught up. Got
Yeah.
caught back up. Because
Good reset.
that's what happens when you got because I'm at that age where me and my friends are adults now.
Yep.
So I got this string tree of like ups and downs of awesomeness in their own little ways, and in my way I'm awesome because I do bare knuckle fighting. I got friends with families and houses and shit. And then I got people who go to Hawaii to help with the fires that they had in 2001. So he assists with that, and and he works hardcore in ministry and stuff like that. So I'm like, cool. He's like, hey, come down and do a seminar for my boxing club, and I got nothing but time, so fuck it. You know what I mean? So I go over there and do it. I go over there and do that, and and then he's like I said, hardcore ministry. So like he sit down and he puts me through Bible boot camp for a week. I'm chilling on the beach and shit, which was pretty cool. Just really learned a lot about myself and getting myself kind of set, because it's a really good fight for me, and just I'm just gonna go in there and just do me.
Yep.
Like no feelings, no hard feelings about it, no joke about it. I don't. Just ain't I do.
Yep. Absolutely. What y'all do is insane and also beautiful all at the same time.
Beautiful art.
It is a beautiful art. But that's incredible. You get to spend some time reset, recenter, especially with the Lord. I'm a Christian myself, so there's nothing better than sitting down, reflecting, and thanking Him for all the things He does for us. Puts us on some crazy paths.
Fact. And
I
that's
mean,
what's funny about it. Like I was in Hawaii, in Maui, and that was like our thing. We, and not even kidding. Like it was like on point. Like every morning, like don't before we did anything fun. I mean, it was, because we haven't seen each other in like 15 years. So, but like every time, like I've had ups and downs and everything like that. But it was just like, like we had to take that week from literally from that. I think it was like from like a Tuesday to Tuesday to like, every morning we sit down, we got in our notebooks and we chat. When we chat, worked on prayer, worked on some things that I was going to try to take back with me back to the States, and just kind of reminisce of what we could do better. Man, because we ain't special, we ain't perfect. So it's
ain't
just like
perfect. Nope.
But let's take that week. And it was only an hour and a half out of our day. To see what we can do better, and that's what we did. And then I did my seminar, a little small seminar, and we had a good time. Got to meet some kids. To share my story and whatnot. And overall, blessing trip. But the second I got off that plane, literally the moment I got off that plane, I was back to fucking training my ass off. I was back at the gym, like right when I got off that fucking plane,
Yep.
fighting jet lag. So I'm like, I gotta fight a hitman. So
Well, it doesn't matter what when you leave the country, you go on vacation, whatever you're doing, the second you get home, it's like,
back.
shit
I gotta
back
go.
on. We're back on.
You gotta fuck it. You
I
gotta
had a
take it.
great time. It was relaxing. Now we're back to the real world.
Time to get ready for a fight. And even like when I was there, I was still just like I was pacing. So it's just like I was still training. I was there at the gym. So like as much as I want to tell you guys that, oh my God, it was like no, I was still training the whole time. But it was just like, it was still Bible study, still got to see the beach, got to check out some shit. But it was just like, like I had to turn on. I had to stay on, because it's a serious fight for me.
Yeah, and I mean, we talk about it a lot on this podcast. I mean, any kind of staying away from it for any bit of time, your opponent across from you, if he's not off and he's still training, I mean, he's still putting in the work if you're not. So, and you have to stay on top of your game in this, especially in this, because this is a little different than boxing. I mean, boxing's it's still tough, but that one punch, it takes one punch in this, one wrong move in this, and you're gone.
Boxing is a beautiful science. It's beautiful. I love it, but it's just like all combat sports are dangerous. So it's just like I show respect to all of it.
Yeah.
But it's just like this bare-knuckle thing. It's just like like anything can happen. So
yeah, it's quick. It's fast paced. Like I mean,
2 minutes.
Yep, it's fast paced, and you watch guys come in that like they're favored to win heavy, and they made one wrong move, and they're asleep. I mean, and they were heavy favorites to come into these fights, so it's crazy. So the technique and the staying on your prep for these fights is absolutely crucial to you guys.
It's like a must, and it's so nerve wracking, but it's a lovely nerve wracking thing. I'd rather be nerve wracked about this shit than anything else in my life. So I'm definitely blessed. Like I said, as much I want to give everyone the doggy dog out attitude about this fight, I just can't. I think me and Gomi have similar journeys, and I think people look at us similar. I'm not saying that we're similar or the same. I'm not saying anything. I'm just saying I think we're both just really hungry. I think we're both kids in the inside, so I think we're both just kind of on our little journeys here, and I cannot disrespect that.
Absolutely, yeah.
Because I see a lot of myself in him, and he boxed in February. So I'm super excited. It's an honor to be in a ring with him. There's no more, no less. I'm not afraid of him at all, and I'm not afraid of my ability. I think I showcased that against Kyle. There's the only thing I don't like about the Kyle fight. It was just the fact that I think I get less credit than I deserve about my skills on that fight. I think that he didn't give me any problems, and I think I showcased that a little bit more than people try to give me credit for. But it's all good. Yeah, I mean, fights are fights. Yeah, I mean, and that's the reason why I love my fans. I mean, because I do have great fans that did see it. They did see the footwork. They did see the poise and the collective that showed in that fight. And unfortunately, Gomin's going to see that too. So it's just like, hey, but that's why I love fighting. I mean, because it keeps me a student and keeps me working on shit and keeps me motivated to train. Like I said, I see a lot of drive for this fight against Gomin. I said I'm not trying to give him too much respect, as in like I don't want to look like a bitch, but I do respect his journey, and it's an honor to get a fight against him. I mean, I've been trying to fight him for a few years, which has nothing to do with anything other than the fact of just timing. I mean, I got to fight Jarrett Warren. I got to fight Terry Janowski and Dave Simpson and all that good stuff. So, and then now I get to fight Gomi, another tough guy. I'm like, fuck it, let's go. And hopefully we can put on bangers like he's put on in his career, and hopefully it'll add on to another banger on mine, but be my win number 6.
Nice. Well, I mean, you talked about it, and that's one thing I enjoy about you guys is you do have respect for each other. It's combat sports, shit gets
Right.
talked, stuff gets said. It's all kind of part of the game, though. I mean, that's
Right.
what hypes the fight up.
I
But
want to give you that, guys. Like, I tell
yeah,
that to the fans. Like, I want to give you that. I mean, because I understand why shit happens. Yeah, I think when it comes to my career, I think my fights just kind of do it. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like, I don't, and that's what's cool about. I mean, don't get me wrong. When I got smacked and at weigh-ins, it was, oh God, I get it. But I'm like, dude, look, A, I did not like it. 2, I did not expect it. Okay, I expected it, but just in that way of like, I was like, damn. Like when he got on stage, I know this wasn't answered, but I'm bringing it up. When he got on stage, I smelt it. I'm like, shit. You know what I mean? He might do something stupid.
yep.
And but it wasn't expected on my end. I was just gonna do me, and I got Bob, got Chris Rock. I told him I
Yeah,
was like, Chris Rock. Like I was like, and he ran off, but I was just like, whatever. God put me in a spot where I get to whoop his ass in 24 hours. So if I just
dude,
stay
you
patient,
smiled. You just sitting there smiling and just
like
cool and calm.
it's
I
just
was
like
like,
if I stay patient, right? Yeah, I
yep,
remember like I just got smacked in front of all these people.
yep. All
And
these
God put me
people.
in a situation where, like, if I just wait 24 fucking hours,
Yep,
whoop his ass.
yep.
So I totally was in a situation. I'm never in those situations. 24 hours, I can whoop this guy's ass. So I just calm down. And, I understand that what that makes, but, I just think that me and Gomi should have that type of fight where it doesn't have to do that. We don't
Yeah,
have to.
yeah.
He's fought for the belt a few times. Man, I'm trying to fight for the belt. He's trying to
Mhm.
get back to the belt. I think our story does it just fine. But it is what it is. I don't control nothing. Man. But I'm prepped and I'm ready
Yep.
to fight. I was like, man, we're gonna have a good fight. And
As since we want to see you guys fight in the ring, not beforehand. I mean, nothing ges done there, so we
Oh,
won't.
trust me, we're gonna pose out. We're
Yeah,
gonna wall out. I think I'm excited.
yeah.
I'm excited. I'm buzzed out about this shit, and I think that he's buzzed out about this shit. So I say live like I just ask the fans to live in the moment with us, man, because we are excited about getting our
Oh, I
hands on
know
these
you guys
fighters.
are. I know a
We're
few of you
excited.
guys personally, and when you don't even have a fight coming up, you're excited like you have a fight coming up on Friday night, and then you guys
Right.
are just juiced all the time. I'm like, he's like, I don't give a shit. Just tell me where, send me the paper, I'll sign it, I'll fight
I'll say
anybody. I just want to fight. Yeah,
we just
so
want to do it.
you just want to
I'm
do it.
telling
That's what I love about it. Just the
you. I was like,
energy's awesome.
just give us
Y'all's
that.
energy in this stuff is insane. You're always smiling. Y'all are always happy. There's shit talking stuff here and there, but it's all fun. It's all fun. Everybody's just having a good time in it. So
I'm having a great time, and I think he, like I said, this is probably one of my funnest ones. And like I said, I'm not underestimating him, but at the same time, I'm not underestimating myself. And you know, it's just like we're gonna put it on. Yeah, I mean, we're gonna do it for you guys for sure. Yeah, I mean, and
absolutely.
we should take the show.
Well, I want to ask. So, tell me about the professional wrestling career. What kind of professional wrestling?
Oh God, okay. So just so I don't disrespect the pro wrestlers, okay, it was a short stunt, motherfuckers. Because dude, pro wrestlers are sensitive, man. Like if a pro wrestler sees this shit, like that motherfucker doesn't know. Okay, yeah, I've worked at Waffle House, motherfuckers. So guess what? I do know the Waffle House grind, and I know I do have my favorite fucking meal there. Okay, you fucking bitches. But my pro wrestling stunt wasn't that long. I've always been a pro wrestling fan. I still am a pro wrestling fan. I do a pro wrestling podcast with my best friends. I watch Mania. I do have a favorite wrestler. Undertaker is my favorite wrestler of all time. I was pissed off when he lost the streak against Brock Lesnar. I'm that guy. I got 2K25. You know what I mean? Like, I know pro wrestling, but I decided to jump in during COVID. So COVID-19 happened and everything shut down. This was right before COVID though. I started doing a pro wrestling school. I did a few pro wrestling schools, but I finally did one in Bay City in my hometown, and I got to my first debut. My debut wrestling match was against Brooklyn Brawler. First in ring, anything. Talking about the fucking pressure of that shit. You know what I mean? Like, and I tell you this right now, as a pro wrestler, when you have your pro wrestling debut against the Brooklyn Brawler, every fucking emotion sucks. Yeah, I mean, because it's
Yeah.
just like I'm new.
Yeah.
I'm probably like three, maybe. I've been training MMA my whole life, but now my first pro wrestling match being the Brooklyn Brawler and going off my own name. My name is Jay Jackson. Man, I was going off the same gimmick of Jay Action Jackson. Now continuing on with pro wrestling with Brooklyn Brawler, it sucked ass. I mean, like the pressure of that sucked ass, and I got to do that. And then I was going to continue on with it, and I started going to Los Angeles, and I was training with Rikishi and them for a little bit, but that was during COVID, so training was limited,
Yeah.
and it was terrible. When I say it wasn't the training itself, it was just difficult. Like
Yeah.
it was just like because we couldn't be in, what I mean, like we couldn't, we had to train with mask on and all that shit. I mean, it was like fuck. I mean, like it wasn't like a typical
Yeah. Yeah.
wrestling thing anymore. I mean, like
I added a bunch of bullshit on top of it for you to try to
right.
figure out
And
too.
we were
So
trying to figure this shit out, you
yeah.
know, and like I'm like, man, like it was just like a lot of unneeded stress, especially with pro wrestling. Like you're supposed to be relaxed. I mean, in pro wrestling, but then like like so much tension because like oh my god, like just that shit, and I'm new,
Yeah.
but I ended up doing like maybe I did about 3 wrestling matches. I had one with another indie guy, which went way better. But then, like I said, this was still after, like I'm getting my mixed up. I'm getting my mix ups, but like it was like right before COVID when I started doing pro wrestling, or it was like right after or something like that. It was like in that COVID line
Yeah.
when so. But once COVID was kind of doing its thing, Knuckle was still going down south. Was still going around,
Yeah.
and I had to change up things. I was like, all right, well, my pro wrestling training became more limited,
Yeah.
and I ended up going to bare knuckle instead. So everything kind of swims in together. I
Yeah.
mean, like I was like I said, I was jumping into my WWE hopes, but then like I ended up doing bare knuckle instead, and bare knuckle worked out better for me.
I'm
So.
happy you're in bare knuckle because you're always enjoyable to watch.
Dude, the pro wrestling thing was dope. I tell you this right now, I love it. I still dream about it because it was still, I had a good time, and I respect pro wrestlers. I respect the lingo. Like especially when we say gimmick or we say mark or and things like that, taking a bump, and stuff like that. It's really funny. It's like it's almost our own little language,
Yeah.
in pro wrestling. And since I've had a few wrestling matches, I feel like I'm allowed to say it because I've taken a bump, and
Yeah.
I've seen, I know what a mark is, and I know what gimmicks are, and, you know, so like it's cool. I enjoy it a lot. I love pro wrestling, still do, but I'm happy just being a fan now.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it was cool. Like as I was going through, I followed you now for a good little while, but I was like, man, he had a pro wrestling stint there for a little bit. I gotta ask him on that. And
Dude,
then it's good to hear that you're a fan of it. And that's what Have you been a fan since you were a little kid, like growing up watching it and stuff?
dude,
Yeah.
whole
So
life,
for
man.
that's even more fun. I mean, I know a bunch of people that love it, and it's like they've loved it since they were kids,
Dude,
and then to go and live it is to actually be a part of it is super cool. Um,
it's like full circle. Definitely had a full circle with it, and not mad. I mean, like, and that's what's cool. Because I mean, like I said, pro wrestling fan my whole life. I just like my mom was a Hulk Hogan fan. Growing up, I know a lot of people were. So my mom was definitely a Hulkster. And then I grew up in Bay City, and next door, Steiner Brothers. Grew up in Exeterville and stuff like that. So even as I continued on in my MMA career, I worked with wrestlers that were working with the Steiners in high school. So, just cool shit like that. And I'm like, Frankensteiner, I mean, everyone knows what a
Yeah.
Frankensteiner is. And then you see, whatchamacallit, Rick Steiner's son doing his thing now. Brian Breaker doing his thing now. And it's like, yeah, that's so cool,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know, uh, so once again, like I said, I watch Mania on Easter, what I mean? So,
Yeah.
oh yeah. So,
I love it. I can tell your enthusiasm. It still gets you juiced up till this day. So
it's
that's
my shit,
awesome.
man. I fucking
That's
love it,
fucking
dude.
awesome.
After I get off this podcast, I'm about to play 2K25. Like, you already know.
So just kind of leading off here, getting down towards the end, but when you got into bare knuckle, one thing I always, ask the fighters themselves was it what I guess I'm trying to say here? When you were in MMA, you done wrestling too. What was the better kick off of coming into bare knuckle than being in something like MMA for y'all or anything else y'all did? My boxing. I hear a lot of guys tell me like they struggled a little bit in MMA because of the ground game, or they struggled in MMA based off of certain aspects of it. So when they came to the bare knuckle, they're just brawlers. Like I just want to punch. Was that kind of where you were at in that? I don't know much about your MMA career.
Nah,
Is it better? Do you enjoy it better than you do fighting an MMA style?
I'll tell you this right now. It's just the pacing. Probably all that good stuff too. Yeah, man. Like no kicks, no takedowns. A simpler, faster pace fight style. Kind of
Yeah,
just getting into it. I know a lot of us are ADHD like a motherfucker, so we kind of just want to get into it. And that's kind of what bare knuckle does.
kind
Like
of gets you in
it's
that
just
rhythm easier.
right. Like there's not such a weight. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
I'm talking about like in MMA, you're on one corner and the other corner.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Well, I've had guys on. They're like, dude, you get kicked in the fucking leg 10 times, you're ready to
oh,
get
that
the
one
fuck
at the
out.
airport sucks. You fucking
Yeah,
know it.
I mean,
You know it,
getting
bro.
slashed, and then you got somebody on top of you for a round. You're fighting to get up, and all I want to do is beat the shit out of someone. I don't want to do all
Yeah,
this other stuff. I just want to stand up and brawl like men and be done.
yeah. Get
Yes,
there, start. I mean, you're total
always.
line. Yo,
Yep,
they know. I
I
mean,
love
which is
it.
cool. You get in the middle, right? Bam. Yeah, I mean, like
Yep,
that's it. There ain't no,
yep.
it's like,
I love it. They put y'all back in there quick too. It's just all
yeah,
right. All right. Stop with the
fuck
fucking around. Get back in there. Let's
it.
fight. Knuckle
Let's
up.
fuck it. Let's
And
go.
y'all are right back at it again.
Fuck it. Let's get
And
this
it's
shit on.
rare that I see somebody kind of like hold back. Once y'all get back into it, it's right back into the action again.
Oh,
Um,
fuck.
it's so much fun to watch. And there was a fight it was a week or so ago, and the guys were kind of like dodging out of each other, and I'm sitting there, I'm like, just somebody fucking kill somebody already. Let's go. As a fan, I'm like,
And
there's no,
and the
let's
reason why
go.
I try to hold back on that because like I have the worst luck. I'm like, yeah, fast, and
Yeah,
all of a sudden I have a slow pace fight. So
yeah,
like, I mean, cause I get it.
yeah,
Coming you trying to win. Uh, but it's just like you don't have no time. That's what I love about the time too, because you have no time. You
yeah.
know, less time to think. More time to fuck it. And that's what I love about bare knuckle. But I respect all art. I've done all arts. Jiu-jitsu and I work out at a Muay Thai gym. I respect Taekwondo and all that good shit. But even I have those conversations, and I'm like, dude, look, I don't disrespect any of these fucking arts. Yeah, I mean, all of it sucks.
Yeah, they're
I
all
don't enjoy
incredible.
any of them. I do not
Yeah,
want to fucking fall on my ass. I don't want to get fucking leg kicked. Don't want to get hit in the fucking face with a bare fucking knuckle. I
yeah,
don't want to deal with fucking
absolutely.
dancing ass boxer. You know what I mean? But I like fighting. I'm an artist. So I can adjust to any of it. The biggest difference between MMA and bare knuckle, though, is definitely the pacing.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, just because you have so many different arts at one time that you have to deal with. Uh, but I think Dana White says it the best though. It's just like this new generation that's coming up. There's so many of them, and it's easy to pick out the bitches. So no one's really trying to get hit. No one's not trying to play this. So only thing you have to do is just grind really hard. Yeah, I mean, and you can make it all the way
Yeah.
to the top. So
Yeah. There's a lot of
yeah,
MMA like UFC and stuff now. You're starting to see like wrestling is getting bigger in it. They're still getting good fights. There's still fights coming in, but you'll see
right.
some of the top guys. They're more going to be on the ground,
Man, safe.
and as they're being safe. And as a fan, for a lot of fans, a lot of times is like the reason you're watching that, the reason you're coming to that is you're looking for that brutality of the sport. And I think the reason why people are connecting so good with with bare knuckle right now is they can come and they know what they're going to get every time. You might not be someone knocked out, but it's going to be two grown men beat up. It's going to be a real fight. That's what they're coming to look at. That's kind of where fans are now. When you watch those UFC fights, and I love the UFC. Like I'm religious. I watch them all. I'm fans of everybody. I'm fans of any fight pretty much on a card. I'll watch it. But there's times where I'm just like, man, if this guy would stand up against this guy, this fight would go the other way. But his ground game is just so good, so good. He's keeping it safe.
One thing I do, like I said, like when you go to, especially because stuff's evolving and stuff like that, these younger fighters are going to come in hungry, and that's what's going to make great fights.
Yeah,
I like to go back to Forrest and Stephen Barner, rest in peace. One thing that about that fight that made that fight so magical is because it was like, for one, UFC was on the rise at that time, and number two, you just seen two guys that were still hungry.
mm-hmm.
Like we hungry, and that's where I think bare knuckles at. Is that
Yeah,
like a lot of us are still hungry. Like
yeah,
we're hungry to make that money. We're hungry to make that name. So like I think bare knuckles at a great spot right now where you're going to see a lot of hunger.
yeah,
And I'm still hungry. I mean, I'm still trying to make good money, trying to make good name, trying to have good fights, and I'm still on that umbrella that my best performances is what's gonna make the big money happen. I might be wrong, I might be right, I don't know. I mean, but it's like I still need that hunger for my
yeah,
training. I need that hunger for my performances. I'm still staying in good light that my hunger will help me get me everything that I want out of this shit. So and I feel like we're in a good spot where a lot of fighters are still like, because I still it's also about the dance partner. My dance partner comes with that same hunger, then that's when the magic happens. And it's
yeah.
not even magic. Me and my friends, me and my buddy Christian, it's not magic. Yeah, I mean, something like it, but it ain't magic. Yeah, I mean, so it's just we stay hungry, we stay putting in the work, and then all of a sudden it's going to be like magical when we get in there because we perform out and we're going to put on one of the best shows that you guys ever
Absolutely.
seen in your life. That's what we want. Yeah, I mean, that's how it all works out.
Yeah,
So, I think that's where BKFC is at right now. It's like we just stay hungry and we stay putting on good shows. I think everyone won.
yeah. Well, hey, we're all excited to see that magic happen on May 2nd, and that's
We
going to be in
should.
Clearwater, Florida.
Clearwater,
Jay,
Florida, May 2nd.
yep, it's been a blast having you on today. Is there anybody you want to call out today? Anybody you want to give a shout out today?
I want to get a shout out to Bugged Up. You know what I mean? I got to do a little month ambassadorship with them. You know what I mean? I hope you guys
Nice.
liked our footage on Instagram. I'm up to butcher this name, but Jauritos, a mixed martial arts gym in Tarpon, badass gym, Koi Muay Thai in Newport Richie. My team, my Muay Thai team there, Smith Brothers Fight Academy in Hudson, Florida. I appreciate them so much. ID Training in Saginaw, Michigan. Love those guys. Jungle Camp, Elvin Brito, Jungle Camp and Manabo, NBO, Box, Fitness, those gyms, definitely my homies. Appreciate them. And Combat 360 in San Juan, Puerto Rico. Appreciate them so much. But yeah, and Trinity Yoga and Lori, all them people. I mean, my namaste. I'm about to go back there tonight, stretch my hamstrings and shit, and stay prepped because today is Thursday. Yeah,
Thursday.
it's
It's
Thursday, yo.
Thursday,
Thursday.
Jay.
It's
I,
Thursday,
it's
so
Thursday, baby. We're
Thursday,
almost
baby.
there.
We a week
We're
out from
almost there.
Thursday. We're
So hey,
almost there, so
man,
it's Thursday.
I've
Well, Salty,
appreciated you
thank you,
being
man, for
on.
having
Yeah,
me, man, and
hey, thank
chat.
you for coming on. We really appreciate it, man. We are excited to watch you.
Yeah.
I'm always excited to watch you. I think you're awesome. You're one of my favorites to watch in BKFC right now. So we look forward to it, guys. Jay Jackson, go and follow him on social media. Follow his career. He is an incredible person. You just heard his story. Thanks for tuning in to Salty's Fight Talk.
I'm
See you,
out.
buddy.
Let out. Peace out, bro.
You are listening to Salty's Fight Talk, hosted by the Big Sexy. Stay frosty, fight fans.